Sheikh Mohammed bin Rashid Al Maktoum, the ruler of Dubai, is celebrated worldwide for his transformative leadership. His vision has turned Dubai into a global hub of innovation and prosperity. But behind the glittering success of the city lies a far more complicated and controversial personal life. His troubled relationships with his wives and children have sparked public debates and curiosity, casting a shadow on his otherwise impeccable image. Why have so many of Sheikh Mohammed's wives and even children felt trapped and silenced under his rule? In this video, we'll uncover the intricate dynamics of his marriages and the pattern of control that has left a lasting mark in his private life. If you're curious to learn more, be sure to subscribe and hit that like button. Let's dive into the complex world of Sheikh Mohammed and his troubled relationships. The image that Sheikh Mohammed portrays to the world is one of a progressive and modern ruler. His leadership has brought economic growth, technological innovation, and cultural advancements to Dubai. Yet beneath this public persona lies a more authoritarian approach in his personal life, where control, secrecy, and power dynamics play a dominant role. His wives, who once may have entered these relationships with hope or admiration, have found themselves trapped in situations where their autonomy is compromised and their freedom is restricted. Over the years, various stories have emerged, each painting a picture of marriages filled with tension and despair. These women, caught in the web of a patriarchal system, often find themselves isolated and stripped of the ability to make independent decisions. Their stories reveal a pattern of emotional manipulation, strict control, and, in many cases, a lack of empathy from the ruler. Sheikh Mohammed's relationships with women began in the 1970s with his first wife, Randa bint Mohammed al-Banna. The pair's early romance, marked by poetry and Western traditions, gave way to control and manipulation once they moved to Dubai. Randa's marriage to the sheikh ended abruptly, and she was banned from the city, losing custody of their daughter, Manal. She was ordered to never set foot in Dubai, and many times over, she visited the king, pleading to set eyes on her daughter, even from afar, but was also denied access for 47 years and counting. The separation of Randa from her child became the first of many such stories, revealing a recurring theme in the sheikh's personal life: control over women, and particularly their children. This pattern was repeated throughout his multiple marriages. His marriage to his cousin, Hind al-Maktoum, who had become his senior wife, appeared more stable due to their traditional backgrounds. But even Hind, like others, lived under the same restrictive environment. Other women in Sheikh Mohammed's life faced harsher realities. Haya Ahmed al-Maash, the mother of Princess Latifa and Princess Shamsa, experienced a breakdown of her marriage to the sheikh, followed by his refusal to let her see their children after the divorce. You may wonder what she must have done wrong. Nothing. He grew cold towards her, and that was enough. What stands out about Sheikh Mohammed's treatment of his wives is not only the separation, but also the systemic isolation. Women in his life, like Lebanese-born Delilah or an unnamed Turkish wife from the 1990s, have also faced similar fates. Delilah lost custody of her 3 children after the divorce, and the Turkish woman reportedly disappeared after giving birth to their daughter. These cases demonstrate a repetitive and unsettling trend: women removed from their children and lives shrouded in secrecy. The experiences of Princess Latifa and Princess Shamsa, daughters of Sheikh Mohammed and Haya Ahmed al-Maash, are perhaps the most vivid depictions of life under the sheikh's rule. Both daughters attempted to escape Dubai in search of freedom, only to be forcefully brought back. Princess Shamsa's escape in 2000 from the UK, where she was on vacation, was short-lived. The sheikh's network of power and influence ensured that she was found, captured, and returned to Dubai against her will. Similarly, Princess Latifa's dramatic escape attempt in 2018 attracted international attention after she released videos revealing the abuse and strict control she had endured throughout her life. She, too, was captured at sea and returned to Dubai, where she was reportedly imprisoned by her father. The attempts of both Latifa and Shamsa to flee highlight the severe restrictions placed upon them. Despite being members of one of the wealthiest families in the world, the sisters were denied personal freedom, autonomy, and control over their own lives. These events led to international outcry, putting Sheikh Mohammed's private life under a harsh global spotlight. The stories of Latifa and Shamsa are not merely tales of escape. They reveal a much deeper struggle for independence and human rights within a family bound by power and control. Of all the women in Sheikh Mohammed's life, Princess Haya bint Hussein, his 6th and most high-profile wife, brought the ruler's controlling behavior into the public eye with her escape and subsequent legal battle in 2019. Haya, the daughter of Jordan's King Hussein, fled Dubai with her 2 children and sought asylum in the United Kingdom, fearing for her life after discovering disturbing details about Latifa and Shamsa's imprisonment. Unlike other women in the Sheikh's life, Haya's escape was not a quiet departure. She took Sheikh Mohammed to court, fighting for custody of her children in the UK. In a landmark case, she alleged that returning to Dubai would put both her and her children's safety at risk, a claim supported by the UK courts. Sheikh Mohammed was ultimately ordered to pay Haya a record-breaking $730 million settlement, the largest in UK divorce history. The court ruling highlighted the monarch's authoritarian control, and Haya's legal victory underscored her bold stand against him. Haya's escape and subsequent public legal battle provided a sharp contrast to the experiences of other women linked to Sheikh Mohammed. Unlike Rhonda and others who were forcibly separated from their children with little means to fight back, Haya had significant resources and global support, allowing her to challenge the Sheikh's power effectively. Her prominence and international connections enabled her to become the most visible figure who had broken free from his control, highlighting the disparity in outcomes for the women in the Sheikh's life depending on their access to power and influence. A recurring theme in Sheikh Mohammed's relationships is the use of children as pawns in power struggles. From Rhonda's daughter Manal to Princess Haya's children, the Sheikh's strategy of keeping the children with him while cutting off their mothers is a consistent feature. This control over his children is not just emotional, it is political, ensuring that his lineage and authority remain intact. The tragic separation of mothers from their children reveals the Sheikh's need for dominance, not just in public life, but in his private affairs. His treatment of his daughters, particularly Latifa and Shamsa, further illustrates the extent to which control is exercised within his family. These young women, despite their privileged upbringing, found themselves trapped in a gilded cage, yearning for freedom that seemed impossible to attain. The reasons behind the animosity towards Sheikh Mohammed become clearer when examining the recurring patterns of control and separation in his relationships. Many of his wives, such as Rhonda, Haya, and even Princess Haya, were placed in impossible positions, often forced to either endure authoritarian control or face the heartbreaking reality of losing their children and their established lives. His repeated refusal to allow these women access to their children demonstrates a deeply ingrained need to maintain dominance over every aspect of his private life. Princess Haya's courageous actions may have brought international attention to these issues, but the experiences of other women, like Rhonda, Haya, and the anonymous Turkish wife, reveal a broader and more systemic issue. For them, resentment towards Sheikh Mohammed goes beyond marital disputes. It stems from the sacrifices they were forced to make in a system that denied them basic autonomy and stripped them of their freedom. These women were not just victims of failed marriages. They were silenced by an oppressive environment that disregarded their rights and left them with little choice but to resent the power that controlled them. Social media has dramatically transformed the way stories about Sheikh Mohammed's private life are shared and consumed. Platforms like Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube have given a voice to those who want to raise awareness of the struggles faced by his wives and daughters. Videos and posts about Princess Latifa's failed escape and Princess Haya's high-profile legal battle in the UK reached millions globally, leading to widespread condemnation of Sheikh Mohammed's actions. This public outcry not only fueled global debates, but also put immense pressure on the ruler to publicly address these concerns. Online campaigns, such as hashtags like Free Latifa and Justice for Haya, gained traction, with activists, celebrities, and ordinary people alike supporting the cause of these women. These platforms became spaces for discussions about women's rights, autonomy, and the abuse of power, pushing the issue beyond the borders of Dubai and the Middle East. The international attention not only highlighted the suffering of these women, but also exposed the stark contrast between Sheikh Mohammed's progressive public image and his authoritarian private life. Despite the mounting public scrutiny, Sheikh Mohammed has largely remained silent on these matters. When faced with legal battles, such as Princess Haya's custody fight in the UK, his legal team worked to maintain the Sheikh's image as a ruler focused on leadership rather than personal scandals. However, his refusal to publicly address the concerns raised by his wives and daughters only adds to the perception that he is more interested in control than resolution. As Sheikh Mohammed continues to rule Dubai, the legacy of his personal relationships may leave a lasting stain on his otherwise celebrated reign. The stories of Princess Haya, Latifa, and Shamsa serve as reminders that even the most powerful figures are not immune to the consequences of their actions. Sheikh Mohammed's future, both as a ruler and as a father, will be shaped by how he handles these ongoing family disputes. The public disdain some of Sheikh Mohammed's wives and daughters feel toward him is rooted in control, fear, and a deep clash between cultural expectations and personal freedom. While Dubai's ruler has gained global respect for his leadership and modernization efforts, the women in his life have exposed a different side of him. A ruler who, behind palace doors, enforces a regime of dominance. The stories of Princess Haya, Latifa, and Shamsa are not just about one man. They're about the universal struggle for freedom and autonomy. What lies ahead for Sheikh Mohammed remains uncertain, but one thing is clear: the voices of these women have changed the narrative forever. Sheikh Mohammed's marriages and the resentment felt by many of his wives are a reflection of the broader dynamics of control, power, and separation. His relationships, while appearing on the surface to be personal, are ultimately political, governed by his need for dominance both publicly and privately. His wives' struggles for autonomy and freedom, from Rhonda to Princess Haya, reflect the darker side of life within the royal family. The international attention on Princess Haya's escape and legal battle may have brought Sheikh Mohammed's personal life into the public eye, but the stories of the other women in his life remain equally telling. Their experiences reveal the high price of life as a royal wife in Dubai, where love, freedom, and maternal bonds were often sacrificed at the altar of control. The Sheikh's wives, far from living in the lap of luxury, found themselves trapped in a struggle for independence, one that often ended in heartbreak and separation. If you enjoyed this exploration of Sheikh Mohammed's complex relationships and found it insightful, don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe to our channel, and share your thoughts in the comments below. We'd love to hear what you think. Be sure to stay tuned for more intriguing stories from the world of royalty and beyond.